Welcome to CKLU 96.7. This is another edition of Creator Conversations presented by Our Creator. I'm your host, Jess, and this is a show where each week I sit down with a different Sudburyan and get to know them. Here at Our Creator, we are always trying to keep you, the social Sudburyan, informed of what different things that are going on in your community. If you've never heard of us before, definitely check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, basically any social media platform. You can check us out. We're always updating, keeping you updated, reposting things, just trying to keep you informed of what's going on in your community. You can also go straight to the source and go to www.ourcreator.com. So that's OURCRATER.com. And you can check there for all sorts of different content throughout the week of different things that are going around in our community, different people that we think you should know about, different events. A few things that you can find on the site right now. We have a roundup of our top 5 favorite festive beverages, because it's never too late to enjoy a seasonal beverage, even though it's the new year. We also have been doing a seasonal article that you guys have been loving. We've been doing 50 bucket list items per season with all sorts of different activities and ideas of things that you can do around our community. We've got our winter edition up right now, and it's chock full of ideas. So if you're sitting around bored, thinking of something you need to do tomorrow, if you're not feeling too hungover, definitely take a look. So this is actually, tonight is the last night of 2017, and to celebrate the new year, we sat down with Jen McKerrall, and Jen McKerrall, she is involved in lots of different projects. She is one of the main executors in Up Here Festival. Her day job is with Music and Film and Motion, providing all sorts of different resources to Northern Ontario artists. And she recently started on a new venture, opening Deadpan Studios. So she's definitely somebody that is well engaged and well informed in, I feel, our communities and Northern Ontario's music scene. So we went straight to the source, and we talked with Jen McKerrall, and she is giving us her top 5 Northern Ontario artists to listen out for in 2018. So listen in. We're going to get a little bit more information with Jen about some of the different projects she's working on. Hopefully we'll get her to give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what we can expect for Up Here this summer in 2018. Listen in, and we'll also be tuning into some music from some great new artists from Northern Ontario that you've maybe never heard of. So today, for this week's edition of Creator Conversations, we are talking with Jen McKerrall. So thanks, Jen, so much for being able to take the time. You are definitely a very busy lady.
It's Christmas time. Everyone's in town. Everyone's doing stuff. And got to see all the people.
So we're going to be doing a bit of a special countdown episode. We are going to be giving you our top 5 artists that you should be listening out for in 2018. And what makes Jen qualified to even make this call? Well, let's just say Jen, she is involved in just about anything you can think of. So Jen is one of the integral people in putting on Up Here every year. She's involved with Music and Film Motion. That is her regular day job. She's also just recently launched Deadpan Studios, and she manages several artists locally. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of how you manage all these different plates that you're spinning all the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's thankfully they all kind of exist in the same realm, you know? So, I mean, it's kind of easy to do. Not easy, that's actually not right at all, but it's fun to do all these things because they're all kind of interconnected and they all kind of serve the same purpose. So, like, my goal in each one of these things is really to just enrich the music industry in Northern Ontario, and just to kind of have more options and more opportunities for artists here.
So with Music and Film Motion, that's obviously an organization that is all about providing these opportunities for Northern Ontario artists. So what kind of services and resources can artists in our area and obviously beyond access through Music and Film Motion?
So, I mean, I'm on the music side of things, so we put on kind of educational programming. So we put on panels and workshops, some songwriting workshops, panels on, or info sessions on things that really span the business side of the music industry, like a ton of topics. We just recently did one for Factor, which is a huge funding agency for music in Canada. So stuff like that. We just want to be able to connect what's going on in the business with the artists that are practicing and working here, and just making sure that artists know that these things are available and kind of understand the business. Because, I mean, an independent artist is a business person inherently, and not everyone has those skills, especially if you've spent all of your time learning and really crafting what it is that you do. So now to have to learn how to be your own manager and your own booking agent and your own publicist and all those things, and like that's super overwhelming. So that's kind of what we're here for. I also do consultations, so just one-on-one, have a chat with artists and kind of just help them put together a personalized plan to help them reach their own goals and whatever it is that they need to do, and just kind of breaking it down into steps so it's a bit more manageable and easier to progress. And then we also do showcases and promotion. So we help promote artists from the north, and we help kind of connect them with the wider industry. So we'll do showcases at events like Folk Music Ontario, which is a conference, at Canadian Music Week. And we've done them at North by Northeast in the past. We're considering one at M for Montreal this coming year for 2018. So kind of just trying to find the right artists to go and meet the industry that are there in these different at these different events, and just help them connect and try to grow their careers that way too.
So you just wrapped in the spring, you guys hosted the Northern Ontario Music and Film Awards. So that is a biannual award these days.
It's biennial, which I learned.
Biennial.
Every 2 years instead of twice a year, which is what biannual apparently means.
They're very similar words.
Yeah, I know. Too close, I would say.
Too close.
Yeah.
So every other year.
That's right. Yeah.
On odd-numbered years.
If we did it twice a year, I would die. So
I would probably want to die.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did the awards go? So how do you become nominated for one of these awards? And can you tell us a little bit more about what the awards kind of are all about?
Yeah, sure. So these are awards for that kind of highlight Northern Ontario's music and film successes, we say. So artists submit for themselves. You can submit for another artist, but because we need so much kind of information and stuff that might not be readily available online, it's really helpful, because like even all the credits for everything that they're submitting, we have to make sure that they own it and who's involved, and make sure that everyone has permission to be submitting these things. So often artists will just submit for themselves, but essentially anything in the past 2 years that has been released is eligible. So on the music side, for example, we have categories like best or artist of the year, like best songwriter, best vocal performance, best engineer, and best music video. And so these are kind of things that we feel highlight the breadth of what's going on in Northern Ontario right now. It'd be really great if we could kind of start breaking it out into genre, just to put a bigger spotlight on some of the stuff that's going on with unrepresented genres or underrepresented genres. So that's kind of something we're looking at every year, just to see how it's growing, and then kind of make those decisions as we go. It's kind of constantly evolving that way, which is cool. But yeah, so once the awards themselves brings all these people together. So in 2008, MFM decided to build a conference around it. And that's the kind of, I would say, like the awards is just the jewel in the crown that is the whole event. So that's where we put on workshops and panels, kind of just jam-packed in the 3-day kind of event. And so we bring in a bunch of industry and during the day, and people can kind of hang out with them and learn from them. And then in the evening, that's where we kind of showcase the talent. So all this industry is in town. So then we just get artists to perform and kind of mingle with everyone. So yeah, it's a huge event, and it's really fun, and it's
and
really
obviously
nice.
Like a really great networking opportunity as well.
Huge, yeah. It's so much more comfortable to kind of like, the whole schmoozing networking thing is really tough for some people, and I completely sympathize with that. It's exhausting, but it's much more fun to do something like that at the Townhouse or at Little Montreal, where it's like way more chill, or especially local artists who are very familiar with these locales and they know kind of a lot of the people around. It's just a lot more comfortable for artists to be on their own turf. And yeah, so I think that kind of adds a neat little element to it.
So Up Here Festival, we're going into the 4th year this summer. So obviously that is making tons and tons of big, exciting changes around our city. So plans must have started. So is there anything that you can reveal to us that we can look forward to for the 2018 season?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, nothing is set in stone yet, but we've been working at... we kind of just put, for the music side anyway, so I help book the music with Christian, and we just put Post-its all over a giant wall, and we try to figure out who goes where, and then everything changes as people become available or people kind of confirm stuff. So then we move things around, and just every little show is kind of its own event. And so usually there are 2 or 3 artists per kind of show. So it's really fun it's just like a puzzle. You try to make everything work together, but you also want, the most exciting part is to just find those artists that no one's heard of yet, put them on the same bill as someone everyone knows, and then just kind of watch people freak out about that one artist that they didn't even know existed. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to reveal just yet, but submissions are open right now, and that's super fun because that's when we get to discover artists we didn't even know existed.
So submissions for artists, for like musician artists, but also for artists that are wanting to put on installations or collaborate in some way for the event as well.
Yeah, we really hope to make a bigger splash with the installations. It's a really neat way to kind of transform the spaces, and that's kind of something that Up Here has been doing for a long. We live up here in general too, the parent organization. Kind of like, with all the murals and stuff, it's about taking these spaces and making it something that we can feel ownership over or feel part of, and feel like it tells a story. So it's neat to even, last year, Ray Miranda's installation in at Fuse with the birch trees. So as soon as you walk in, she had all these like painted fabric birch trees that you had to, and you had to like walk through them, and it was just such a neat way it just changes how you feel about the space because you enter it in a very dramatic way, and it just, I find it really interesting to be able to interact with these things as well. Like NASA, Northern Ontario Society of Architects, they did an installation just outside of Fuse in that little alleyway that they have that's open, and it's just, and they do this every year. It's always something that they build that can be kind of climbed on and sat on, and you can chill out for a second on it, or you can run around on it, and it's neat when it gets to be interactive too.
I really love one of the kind of my favorite things about Up Here is that it's trying to make kind of an immersive experience. Which is really what I kind of think that a music festival should be. Like, you should show up to a music festival and be, like, ready to give your day away to the festival.
Yeah, we hope people will do that. And there are a lot of stops, so it kind of helps, when some festivals are kind of all in one area. But it's fun to just be able to hop around and sometimes have to make choices about which one you're going to go to, or if you have a pass, go to all of them. But it's making that schedule and having these, like, little tight deadline, sort of like looking at your schedule and being like, okay, I have to be here for this act and then here for this act, and then like at some point I'm going to go see that installation in Memorial Park and whatever. So it's kind of a fun experience that way too. You can customize it a little bit. We're
gonna kind of go into our roundup of top Northern artists. So I know you have quite a few in mind. So we're gonna just tease a few. So let's just do for now 3 that you think that people should be listening to for 2018.
Cool. So the first one I wanted to mention is Midnight Shine. They're a band from Moose Factory, which I can't imagine is an easy place to do business. It's so far away from everything. They've managed to really make a great name for themselves, and they do some really cool stuff. So they've been working on a full length to release in 2018, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot more from them. So definitely keep an ear out for that, and then go like them on Facebook now, because then you can say that you were there.
You were there. You knew them when.
Yeah, you knew them when.
It'll be authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, who else do you have on your list?
Okay, so from North Bay, there's an artist. Her name's Rose Erin Stokes, and I think she's played in Sudbury a little bit, and I think she's got one of those voices that is just so amazing. She's a past winner of the NAMFA for Best Vocal Performance, and that's not surprising at all. She is super hardworking, and she's actually also one quarter of Hidden Roots Collective, and I don't know if you've seen them.
Okay.
They've played, I think they played River and Sky last year.
Didn't they do a show at the Motley Kitchen pretty recently?
They did, yes, that's right. Yeah, just like this month, I think.
Okay, yeah, I think they did one of the dinner and the show things at the Motley.
Yeah, they're a fantastic collective. So she's one of them, and yeah, she's been working on her full length this year too. And I think she's got. I have some intel that she's got a music video coming out, shot by Mr. Sean Cosmerly. So we'll be seeing that soon. That'll be her first single, and then you'll be hearing her album later on this year.
All right, perfect. So for our last one for this segment, who else do we have up on the block?
All right. So I'm talking about Green Bank. They're from Thunder Bay, and they used to be called Green Bank Trio, and then one of their members left, and now they kind of do duo thing, or they'll bring in a couple other guys sometimes, so they drop the trio part. But they're super talented dudes. The harmonies are unbelievable, and also super hardworking. I mean, like any artist from Northern Ontario, and especially from Northwestern Ontario, you gotta haul ass, because you're just, you're constantly having to get on the road to be noticed, and
you gotta hustle.
And they're killing it. So it'll be really cool to see just kind of how this next album of theirs, where it takes them.
Perfect. So we're going to go into our first segment of music. We are going to play some of Jen's top 3 artists that she recommends that you keep an eye out in Northern Ontario for 2018.
And that was a wrap for our first segment of music. We just heard from Jen McKerrall. She was giving us all sorts of details about all the different hats she wears with Up Here Festival, with Music and Film Motion, all the different kind of resources that artists in our area can access. This hour we are getting with from Jen. We are wrapping up 2017, and Jen is giving us her top 5 artists to watch for Northern Ontario in 2018. So she just gave us her first few artists. Can't give them all away quite yet. We've got a full hour to fill here. So her artists were Midnight Shine, Rose Aaron Stokes, and Green Bank. So I went and checked out all these artists, and so it was up to me to pick the song. So we're going to do our first lineup of music. So that will be Sister Love by Midnight Shine, Not Alone by Rose Aaron Stokes, and Together by Green Bank. Hope you enjoy. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Creator Conversations. I bet you're expecting some music right now. Turns out copyright laws even apply to us. So check below in the description for all the links for the music that we would have played this episode, and you can always follow us on Spotify to keep up to date with our playlists. Welcome back again to CKLU 96.7. That was a wrap for our first segment of music for tonight. This evening is a special New Year's Eve edition. We've been speaking with Jen McKerrall, and she's given us her top 5 artists to watch out for from Northern Ontario in 2018. So in our first segment, we just heard music from Midnight Shine, Rose Aaron Stokes, and Green Bank. We've got lots more to talk to Jen about. We want to definitely hear more details about her recently launched Deadpan Studios, some of the different projects she's worked on in the past, some of the different artists she's working on. And of course, we've always got our creator conversation questions. So we're going to put Jen in the hot seat and have her answer a few of those. And we're going to get her to finish up give her the rest of her recommendations for artists to watch out for in 2018.
All right, so we are back again with our second half of interview with Jen McKerrall. So we've already talked with her a lot about Music and Film Motion, some of the different resources you can access there. And up here, of course, we talked a little bit what we can expect for 2018. But one of the other things that was more of a recent venture for Jen is Deadpan Studios. So can you tell us a little bit about this new venture of yours?
Yeah, this was something that totally fell in our laps, and by I mean myself and my partner, Matt Wewell. an audio engineer, and he started working at this place called Mission Studios, which is a recording studio on Melvin. And he had been doing some mixing stuff there and got to know the owner of the place. And when it came time for them to sell, they were like, Matt, do you want to buy it? Like, do you want this? And it was kind of always his dream to have a studio. And he brought it up to me, and it was clear we couldn't afford it at all. So we borrowed a ton of money, because how do you pass this up? And and now we have a studio. So we've put a lot of work into it, and there's a lot of work still to be done, but we've already had some great bands through. Murder Murder's newest record was done there. Tofino's newest EP was there, or their first, I guess, was recorded there and mixed there as well by Matt. And it's just kind of a dream for him to be able to just, it's attached to our house as well. So, you don't have to go far, you don't have to go outside in weather like this.
Yeah, my dream is to be able to walk to work in my pajamas without ever going outside.
Yeah, he wears his jeans, so he takes it very seriously.
Professional.
Very professional, yeah. No, but it's really cool, and it's fun to take on a business. This is something totally new for both of us. He's been self-employed for a while as a live audio engineer, but it's putting a business plan together and all that stuff. It was a learning curve, but it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And then you also on the side kind of do a lot with managing other artists. So what are some of the artists that you're involved with getting out there? I
work with Murder Murder in Sudbury, and I work with Nick Sherman, who's an artist based out of Thunder Bay. And I started doing this because my job at MFM is really it's really great, but I felt myself wanting to get more hands-on with artists. And certain artists too, you have to, you do a lot of that work yourself, but it gets to a point where there's just so much going on that if you're still doing all of those management duties, then your songwriting and your the amount of time you get to practice and to write songs like that suffers. So when it gets to that point, you need somebody else to come in. And so having worked with these artists through MFM, we kind of just started working together a bit more seriously, and it evolved into this sort of relationship that we have now.
This kind of symbiotic kind of
so
to and fro kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's stuff that I do on the side, and it's really gratifying to help just specific artists just get through all this stuff. It's grant writing, it's kind of strategizing, it's making those connections, it's kind of helping them build those bridges around. And those artists are already doing so much on their own. They're both both Murder Murder and Nick Sherman are amazing artists, and they work really, really hard. So it's easy for me sort of to just come in and take some of that off their plate, and hopefully see them do better because of it.
Yeah. And you don't just talk the talk, you've walked the walk. You've done your time with, you were one of the members of Pistol George Warren. So you've done your own touring. You've, been a performing and traveling artist yourself. So tell us kind of about kind of that whole experience and how that's helped you as you kind of go forward and obviously having more of a better idea of what these artists need.
I think MFM was something that I started working at MFM in 2009, and started learning a lot of stuff from Mike Large, who was the music outreach officer at the time. And I was learning a lot of it in theory. So I was learning it from him as a person. He was a person who had gone through it all. And I was learning it through him and through his experiences. But, the music industry has changed so much in the past couple decades. So it was
really even in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. So it was really, really enriching for me to get to be really hands-on that way too. So, taking on some of the management duties, and being able to travel and kind of understand just exactly the circumstances that artists work in, and just the environment that they work in and the needs that they have as just super independent artists just starting out. It was really good insight and really good practice. For sure. And it was a ton of fun because you're just riding around singing songs with your friends.
Yeah,
So,
just riding around with party band.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of work, obviously, but also it was a really, really fun time in my life, for sure.
Yeah. Do you ever miss the old days, getting the band back together?
Yeah. It was, it definitely got to the point where so many, I mean, we were 8 members, 9 at the most at one point. So, I mean, everyone kind of was going their own way. Pierre and Shari had a baby, and, you know, everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. And we kind of recognized that it was time to end it. But, I mean, we're all still really great friends, and we see each other often. So it's, I mean, yeah, it definitely a bit nostalgic at times for when we used to kind of do all that stuff together. But it's nice that we all still are really great friends, and nothing much has changed there.
So we have a few standard form questions that we always ask, Jen, and this is, we're going to pose these ones to you. These are a little bit tougher ones.
All right.
So Jen, who would you say is your favorite Sudburyan?
Oh my God. Favorite Sudburyan. Oh, that's a really tough one. I feel like this is going to be expected, but it's Christian Peltier, because he, I mean, I work really closely with him. He's taught me so much. He is just such a hardworking, respectful dude. And I love that he's equal parts kind of doer and like networker and like guy about town. And then also like total disturber. Like, I kind of love that side of him. And it's really fun that... I feel like the city is better for kind of having him around and having him invest his energy and skills back into our city in a number of ways. I think, yeah, he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, and it's easy to call somebody like shit disturber, but like at the same time, like, I mean, I've said it on this program before, like there's kind of like this new generation of people that are like coming of age and being like, you know, this is what I want my home to look like. Mm-hmm. And I'm not willing to give up on my home, and I want to make the changes to make my home a place that I'm proud of.
Totally.
And like Christian definitely, like, obviously, like spearheading, like We Live Up Here, and then that evolves, like, We Live Up Here started as just like a photo book, right? Mm-hmm. And like I don't think that anyone could have expected that it turned into like the scale of project that it has now.
Yeah. And I think what's neat about Christian too is that he did, I think, kind of always know the potential. Yeah, he always sees the potential in things, and he dreams huge, like bigger than anyone I know. And I find myself as like sometimes the more practical, realistic type, and so I'm always kind of trying to rein it in. But if it weren't for his like just passion for trying to make all these crazy things happen, then, you know, we wouldn't. You know, I mean, we obviously that balance is necessary.
We have some really boring walls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's not like our buildings are nice; they're all like gross colors, and they took down all the good architecture. But anyway.
So Jen, what would you say is Sudbury's signature dish?
Oh,
is there any kind of food that you think that Sudbury does best?
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually, I think it's Sapporo Sushi, Sapporo Ichibang Sushi. I worked there for a year right after university, during and right after. And I was blown away by the number of people who would come in from other cities, like either they were in town for work or passing through, and they would always stop because they'd say, like, you can't find sushi like this in Toronto. You can't find sushi like this in Ottawa. And I mean, not that any of those places are by the ocean either, so maybe Halifax or Vancouver will blow this out of the water. But as far as Ontario goes...
Nobody came from Vancouver.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, that'd be kind of ridiculous.
Granted, no one came from Vancouver.
Full disclosure, but... Yeah, so I mean, I think... and I've kind of done a couple of taste tests myself. I mean, I love sushi, and I try to eat it in, you know, anywhere I go, because it's kind of an affordable thing to scarf down to when you're somewhere. But yeah, I still think the best sushi I've ever had is at Sapporo Ichibang, for sure.
So being somebody that is heavily involved in the music industry, obviously from the professional standpoint, from a recreational standpoint, as a performer, as somebody that puts on shows, what would you say is your favorite venue for live music in the city?
Oh my god. Okay, Moose Lodge. honestly, I know it's random, but it's just got so much character. Have you ever been?
No.
Okay, it's got so much character, and it's
What
it just
neighborhood
looks
is
like
that
a
in?
little cabin. It's on Frood Road, right by where the like train bridge goes over.
Oh, okay. I picture where it is. Okay.
Yeah, so there's like it's like a little hall. It's got a little sign out front that's usually advertising like spaghetti dinners or something.
Okay. It's near the Ukrainian.
Yeah, just
Center.
just a bit closer to the Donovan, and it's like. It's awesome. It's just got, it's really rustic looking. And I mean, the folks that are hanging out there and like working the bar and kind of helping out, they're awesome. They're just so gracious. And I've seen, mostly the shows I've seen there have been put on by La Slag. So they're the local Francophone concert promoters. And it's just a beautiful place. It sounds great. And it's just so cozy. And I really wish more people used it. And I think we're going to see it kind of used a little bit more, especially with the loss of the fromagerie and speakeasy. We're kind of becoming a bit more venue deficient than we already were.
Yeah. So
is
look up for the Moose Lodge.
Sad. Yeah.
On the
Moose
up
Lodge,
here
guys,
on
do
the
it.
up here list.
Maybe. We'll
On
see.
the up here venue list for 2018.
Perhaps.
Let's cross our fingers. So to finish off our list of top Northern artists that you should be listening to in 2018. So we have two more artists, and then we're going to actually get from Jen her song to close out 2017. So Jen, who are your last two artists that you want to give a shout out to for 2018 that you should be listening to?
So I've got Jackson Reed. He's from Sault Ste. Marie, and I first met Jackson when he was 17 years old, just putting on shows at the Gore Street Cafe. It was Cafe Natura. And he was just kind of bringing in, sort of like we were talking about, bringing in things that he wanted to see, but kind of exposing the whole community to it. So it was something that was really neat for the community. It was bringing in a different kind of music that people weren't really getting a chance to see, and artists that nobody were really getting a chance to discover. So it was really cool what he was doing. And then he started kind of writing and recording himself. And I know he went to school down south for a while to take some music management classes and stuff at, actually I forget where, but some place at college in Toronto. And now he's back in the Sioux, kind of bringing all that knowledge back with him and recording and doing his own thing. So according to his own social media posts, I think his recordings that we'll be hearing in 2018 are going to be a lot weirder. So we're going to hear a bit more noise and freeform stuff from him, which is really neat. He's always been a super creative dude. So I'm really excited to see kind of what he busts out this year.
What he's up to. So who is our final artist for the roundup?
Our final one is a bit of shameless self-promotion as well, but Miss Jennifer Holub is at Deadpan Studios right now, kind of a bit earlier this month, and then she'll be doing some more stuff, wrapping up in the next couple of weeks, recording her new album. And so I've got to hear some of it as it's getting done. It's being produced by John Danilou from Murder Murder and from Pistol George Warren, and engineered by Matt Wewell. So it's just one big collaboration, and there are a lot of really great ideas, and some of these songs are such a departure from what we heard on her last album, and it's really neat to see her experiment and just kind of do get really creative and really just bust out of that kind of folk trope that I think a lot of solo artists kind of get stuck in sometimes. I think it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard line to kind of have like a recognizable sound, but also not pigeonhole yourself into it too.
Totally. Chatting with her about it, her intention for this record was to throw all that to the wind. It was, she doesn't even really care that this album is, super cohesive even. Like from one song to the next, they're so different, but they'll work all together in a lot of different ways. But yeah, she just wanted to do and put out all the really cool ideas that she's had in the past 2 years of writing, and it's gonna be really cool.
So to wrap up 2017, it's been a whirlwind year, I feel. So what is the song that you want to send the year out to?
There's this one song that I just still can't stop listening to, and I feel like it might have been, we just talked about this, it might have been released in 2016, but I'm going to...
Well, it'll be fine.
And I'll throw it out there anyway. It's an artist called Bernice, a band from Toronto, and they have a song called St. Lucia, and I just never get sick of it. So I want everyone to hear it and also just listen to it forever.
I want it at my funeral.
Dark.
Let's leave this cackling in.
Absolutely. It's who we are.
Oh, great. All right. Well, Jen, thanks so much for joining us today. We will definitely, I'm sure, be hearing from some of your crew as Up Here comes closer too. And we're definitely very excited to hear about all the updates on Deadpan Studios, to see where that's going to go, and all the different things that are coming up for Music and Film Motion.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. That was the end of our time with Jen McKerrall. She has given us tonight her top 5 Northern Ontario artists to watch out for in 2018. We've gotten to talk to her a lot about all the different projects she's works on. We cannot wait to hear more about what's going to be going on for Up Here Festival next summer. Music and Film Motion. If you've never checked them out, if you are interested at all, or if you're looking for any kind of resources for any kind of artistic projects that you might be ambitious to go forward with, definitely check out Music and Film Motion. They're a great resource for any kind of projects that you might need some guidance how to navigate things, and Deadpan Studios for all your recording needs. So going into our last segment of music to round out the night, Jen's picks for her 2 artists to watch out for in 2018 was Jackson Reed and Jennifer Holub. So we'll be playing right after this Goodbye Endless Summer by Jackson Reed and Hold Me by Jennifer Holub. And then our last song for the night is Jen's song of 2017, the song that she has been just loving all of 2017. This is a song by an act called Bernice from Toronto. The song is called St. Lucia. So again, that'll be Goodbye Endless Summer by Jackson Reed, Hold Me by Jennifer Holub, and St. Lucia by Bernice. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Creator Conversations. I bet you're expecting some music right now. Turns out copyright laws even apply to us. So check below in the description for all the links for the music that we would have played this episode, and you can always follow us on Spotify to keep up to date with our playlists. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight on CKLU 96.7. That is a wrap for this year's New Year's Eve edition of Creator Conversations. Remember, as always, to watch out for our link online afterwards. You can always listen to our playlists of all the music. We'll have an article to accompany this show. So keep your eyes peeled on ourcreator.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to make sure that you are up to date on everything that we've been up to all throughout the week. And from all of us here at Our Creator, have a very happy New Year.